Hello and welcome to the Education on Fire podcast. The place where we share creative and inspiring learning in our schools. Season 4, Episode 53. Hello and welcome back to the Education on Fire podcast with me, Mark Taylor. Today I'm joined by Joan Lind, and she's the Managing Director of TryBooking.co.uk. And I came across TryBooking when I was in Manchester at the Music and Drama Expo earlier in the year. And you all know we're recording this in December, and I've been to some Christmas concerts and nativities already, and the whole seating thing is an absolute bun fight. And TryBooking is just a fantastic organisation that will help you organise all that as a teacher in a school, and that and much more. So, Joan, thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Well, thank you, Mark, for inviting me.
And can you give us a little bit of background about yourself and TryBooking and how the whole thing came into operation?
Of course, I'd be delighted to. Well, first of all, I came across TryBooking as a parent of primary school children in Australia. TryBooking is prolific among schools because it was founded on the premise of helping community-based organisations more easily manage all the admin related to putting on any size of event, be it a free nativity play through to a big fundraising event at a school or a charity. My husband and I both had busy jobs, corporate jobs, and we never got round to the admin of filling in forms, never mind getting cash to school. And we kept bouncing into TryBooking as the school helped us more easily tell them if our son or daughter was to go on a school trip or they were playing in a concert. And one of the real highlights for me was they just had an ordinary hall, nothing fancy, no seating theatre or anything. But they set up the hall with seating, rows of seats, and for the first time they enabled parents to choose a seat. And it was fabulous because on this particular occasion my son, who was only 6, was doing his first piano recital, all of 10 seconds long. And I was able therefore to choose a seat near the front, and my husband, who was inevitably going to be running late, was able to choose a seat near the back and not disrupt the proceedings. And we knew exactly what we were doing. We were able to rock up, not worry about where we're sitting. It's also fantastic in that you can have disabled seating on TryBooking and you just set it all up as you want. So that's where we came across it and we just loved it. And it wasn't just our schools. Those schools is a big beneficiary of all its features, but we'd go to charity events or our local ballet school or rugby club, and we found ourselves registering and all sorts of things. So it's a very flexible website, and that's all we knew about it, but we liked it. And about 4 years ago, having spent 25 years in corporate world across London and Sydney, we knew we had to come back to the UK for family reasons. And that really was going to take us as a base to the Lake District. And we started having ideas about what we could do and what could benefit organisations around us. And I approached TryBooking as one idea, and to discover it also been founded by a husband and wife team who'd founded it for exactly the same reason that we enjoyed it. That was about 10 years old, and they said, yes, why don't you take it to the UK? And because TryBooking is primarily focused on community-based organisations, it's got so many benefits for people. For example, one of the big ones is if you're running a free event, you don't pay to use us. Why should you? If you're not making money out of an event, why should we? So you can run your school concerts if they're free, have all the benefits of seating plans or knowing who's coming, knowing numbers. It might just be a simple case of you don't want to use the seating plan feature, but you might want to know that you've only got 100 people coming because your school hall only takes 100 comfortably. And I know a lot of schools use this for that reason, where they've had parents sitting in the aisles or hanging through doors, and they say, right, well, let's run that play or concert or talk or whatever the school's putting on over 2 nights, because we know we're going to be overly subscribed. So even if you're needing it just to know how many numbers are coming, it has all those flexibilities.
That's really important, isn't it? And what I like about that is the fact that it takes the pressure off from a parent's point of view in so many ways, while supporting the school at the same time. And it is that win-win situation, which I think is probably the key to the success of it.
Correct. And also the hidden, I'm putting my school hat on now. I'm still a parent. I've got a child at a primary school and a child at a senior school. And I know that the levels of pressure on schools for cost savings and the admin that can go on behind putting on school events. And there's all these hidden costs that you tend not to think about. So producing paper tickets that are sold over reception. Well, printer ink isn't cheap, and paper is a cost, and more importantly, staff time is a cost. So TryBooking just works 24/7 quietly in the background, helping you know who's attending, helping you know numbers. Parents are able to book at any time of day easily and quickly from any device. They immediately have their tickets, even for free events, emailed to them. They put it straight in their diary. So again, your attendance levels are better because people are more organised. And therefore, it takes pressure off the school not to have to check who's coming, who's not, creating spreadsheets. All of that is automatically done within the system.
And I think because it really crosses so many different areas, you said, there's seating for sort of paid and non-paid concerts and school trips and PTA organisations and quizzes and all manner of things which you provide. Because everything can come under one umbrella, I like the fact that as a parent everything becomes simpler. So I know anything to do with the school in regards to that, I just need this piece of software, or this thing is the place I go to organise all of that. And I'm not looking in a million different places to find the latest version of what I need for the concert or the trip, or having to pay for X, Y or Z.
Yes, and it's even easier than that because each event, be it a parent-teacher meeting or be it the annual nativity concert or play, each event has its own unique URL because we're a web-based business. We're not it's not a tricksy, heavy-duty piece of software. So the school can email out, for example, all the parents of the children in year 5 and 6 who are going to have a lead at the nativity concert and say, look, we're having this concert and here's the booking link. We're letting you have it first because your children are on stage. And then they can open up to the broader audience. They can do things like set limits. So the really popular events throughout the year, speech days, end of term concerts, all that kind of thing, you can set limits. So parents can only book 4 tickets, for example. So again, it's a really level playing field for everybody. So all the communication comes from the school. They pop in a booking link, or they put a booking link on the school website, or on their social media pages, whatever they like to use. It doesn't change the way they work. We are flexible to work with how they want to work. And they place the booking link. So if I see a little notice on my Facebook page about a PTA fundraising event, I can book my tickets or my raffle tickets or whatever it is they want to sell there and then without having to log into portals, and I can share it with other family members and they can easily book too from wherever they are. So it's a very flexible outward looking system. And one of the other big benefits, and one of the reasons I really liked TryBooking, is that we sit quietly in the background. So you can brand all the pages to look and feel how the school or the head of music or the drama teacher or the headmaster's PA wants that event to look. And they can be completely branded as the school. So the parents have this seamless experience, either from the email that's sent or from your website. It raises, in a very simple way, the professional sort of look of the school as well, if that's important to you, or you can keep it very, very simple. Again, it's all down to the school and the culture of that school.
And I think, as schools are, like you say, costs are a big thing. So,
yeah.
and time and printer ink, as you said, and paper and all those things. And the schools are wanting to become more green, and all of those things. And it is a slow process, isn't it, in terms of people gradually moving to this sort of way of working. But I think because of the benefits both sides, like you say, it works in the background. It gives the school the information it needs. It keeps it simple because all their information is there, and people know that by doing it online, we're not waiting for the piece of paper that's in so and so's book bag that they've never quite managed to get home or brought back. This is how it needs to work if we want the information, which is fabulous. And I really like the fact that the being able to book tickets or the fact that you can choose your seats, especially when your child happens to be maybe the lead or having their first concert recital, like you said, to know that you can do that without having to be there an hour in advance. Or, like I say, we're all busy people. Sometimes we can only get there just at the start of a concert, and to know that we're not going to be left at the back because we happen to have not been to get there right at the beginning. I think that it gives you much more than the than the ability to feel like it's taken care of for you. It actually feels like you're an integral part of what's going on in the school within your own life, and I think that has a very nice warm feeling about it.
That's exactly right. I think schools rightly are focused on the pupils, and so they should be. And they're not a corporation, they're not, servicing parents, but we've got an aging population that includes parents, and we've got grandparents that are much more hands-on than they've ever been before. So coming to the school much more than any other generation did. And if I just give a very personal example, my mother-in-law, who's quite lame, she will not come to most of our school concerts if they weren't ticketed, because she wouldn't want to have to get past people in a row or in a pew if it's in a little church. Or and have to climb the steps. So all these things you can ask for people if they need disability access, all these type of things. And now she's able to do that with much greater ease. And I know she wouldn't have done before, because we can say, look, don't worry, you're going to be sitting in this part of the hall and there's a disabled access door just there. And it just makes all of those things so much easier for people then to attend. When I often find schools, rightly, are a bit like hospitals. They're not very well signposted, because you don't want to publicly show where everything is. So to be able to guide people easily through to an event through the system is really beneficial.
And can I just ask, sort of practically, we talked about different events and also different venues for that matter. How does the school go about actually being able to upload something which has the sort of the seating plan of wherever it is they happen to be? Because like I say, it might be a school hall, it might be a church, or it might be a theatre that they've hired out. How does it work from the sort of the smallest possible scenario up through?
Good question. And I think we'll probably put some links up on your website to bring this alive visually. So we have a really lovely, easy to use seating plan feature. So you can choose how many seats you want to be in the venue. So it could be anything. Let's say the headmaster was doing a talk on the future of music at the school, for example. He wanted just to invite 20 parents that he knew had really talented musical children. He could set up a seating plan for 20 within his office or within a little, room at the school. And you just set up the rows, you set up the seats. If you were looking to do a bigger thing in the school hall and you knew you could take 200 seats, you set it up in the way that you want. You could reserve seats. So within those 200 seats, you might decide, well, look, we're going to do 10 rows of 20 seats, or we're going to do 20 rows of 10 seats. And it'd be quite nice to reserve some seats for special pupils or for governors or for VIPs. So you could reserve those too, and then release just the seats that you want the parents to book. And this is all done within our seating plan feature. So you don't have to upload anything. You just click onto seating plan and it prompts you to say, well, how many seats, how many rows? Another of the benefits, which I've really loved, is that allows schools to get much more creative. So they might only have a simple hall, and they've always done a stage at the front with rows of seats. Well, with TryBooking, they can now go, well, actually, it'd be quite nice to have a central stage. And maybe we put seats on all four sides. Or we're going to do a cabaret night, so we're going to maybe have some tables of 8, and they can get booked up. And if people don't book them, they can have seats around the perimeter of the hall. So we find schools getting really creative with the performances that they do or the things that they do at school, because this system allows them to bring that alive, to give them a West End theatre experience and to set it up exactly how they would like. And I had one dance school actually in a small rural town. She used a local town hall, and she did exactly that. And it had pillars and all sorts. So she just laid the chairs out the way she wanted it, and then set the system up to reflect that. And guess what? 3 sides of it were fully booked, and there was one side that was maybe not such a good view, and that was the ones that seats were left in.
That's brilliant, and also, as the audience, whether it's parents or like say grandparents and all that sort of thing, you really know like you're going to get the best experience out of it as well, and knowing all these things in advance, because it might be that you visit the school hall on a regular basis, but you wouldn't know necessarily what that looks like if you if you have a cabaret and table kind of feel. So to have all those options in advance, I think it's a fantastic thing to do.
Terrific. And I'd like to say we're obviously focusing on music and drama and performances here, but another use of it, which I do find quite surprising, when schools do open days, which you see flags and posters regularly around towns and villages in the UK promoting the open day at the school. And many schools will not ask for people to register online to say they're coming. So they open their gates and maybe 100 families walk through and 100 families walk out, and they may not know anything about them. Whereas with TryBooking, again, this because it's free, they could set up a little registration online. Just some simple questions: your name, what age your child is, have they got special learning difficulties, have they got special talents, and then they get 100 registrations. They go, terrific, we're expecting 100 families, and then only 60 walk through the door on the actual day because there's been floods or the snow's come in. Then they can work out, well, where those 60 parents arrived, the other 40 didn't, then the school can reach out to them and say, well, we're really sorry you couldn't make it. They then have their contact details. So again, treating the school like businesses would treat their clientele, and building a relationship up with potential new parents before they've even arrived at the school, all adds the professionalism of the school.
And that's really important. And I think I don't want to say as schools become more like businesses, but I think they are in lots of ways because, with money tight and budgets really being squeezed in lots of directions, and everyone's looking to find the most productive way to find new parents and to come across in a way that parents feel like they want their children to go there. And the obvious way of doing that is to actually be able to reach out to them and talk to them directly, and that's it's the perfect way to do that, exactly as a business would do, isn't it? It's just grab the details and then you can support them and guide them in a way which is most supportive for them and the school at the same time, and I think that's really is a win-win for
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
So in terms of we've talked a lot about it being free, and I think that's the incredible starting point is the fact that it can be absolutely free. What sort of price range does it go, and how does it work if you then decide you're putting on paid events and sort of build up from that sort of just free concert?
Absolutely. Good question. So the first thing is TryBooking is a pay-as-you-use system. We're a web-based system. We're not a piece of software that you buy or you license. So it's a pay-as-you-use. And we've got a really simple, and again, this is deliberately so to make it easy for community-based organisations, and particularly schools. We've got a really simple pricing policy where there's two ways we get paid. The first is by the event organiser or the school, where if they were putting on an event, we take a small clip, and that clip is 5% of every ticket they sell. So to put that in context, if they're selling a £5 ticket, we would retain 25p, and the school would receive £4.75. If the school was selling £10 tickets, we would retain 50p, and the school receives £9.50. Now, in that 5%, is full use of all of our features. So we don't charge more for the seating plan or any of our other lovely features like early bird tickets or follow-up emails or any of the all features are fully accessible to anybody, whether they're running a free event or a paid-for event. Well, also within that 5% is all the banking processes. So we take responsibility for that. So if it's a paid-for event and grannies or aunties or mums and dads are buying their tickets online, they use their credit or debit card. We then automatically email them the tickets and we process that payment. So all of that's managed. It also includes any amount of time you need to call or email my team at TryBooking, because we are not just a faceless website, because we recognise there's different levels of confidence with dealing with anything techie, even though it's a very simple to use system. And so it's 5% is the way the school would pay us. So if they sell 5 tickets at £5, we make 5 times 25p, which is £1.25. The other way we get paid is by the parent who's booking the tickets, and we have a flat 15p booking fee on any ticket price. So if the ticket's £5, the parent will pay £5.15 for the ease and speed of being able to book online wherever they want without having to write a cheque or post a cheque, which second-class stamps are 56p. So regardless of the price of the envelope, or the petrol money to actually drive into the school to give cash at reception. So it's 15p. However, schools also have an option. If they choose they would rather not pass on that 15p to the parent, they can absorb it, but they would pay that us as well. So we get paid 5% and 15p for each transaction.
And And it really is then just done and dusted, isn't it? Like you say, the cost that you save by parents writing checks, or they're having to do the extra banking, and let alone just the ease of the fact that you can pay through the internet, which just makes all the difference in the world. It just takes the hassle out of everything, and makes it much easier for the parents. And I have to say, it's as our children are sort of going through school, and especially as they get to secondary schools, you seem to use this quite a lot more. I think, having the whole system set up where you can just do it all online, you see what you're buying, and it really makes it so much easier, because you can just think, right, now I'm going to do school related admin, and here it is. And like you say, much better than having to find on the morning of a trip that you've forgotten to do the form, or you need to pay for the ticket, or whatever that happens to be. And I think that's such a plus point for parents, and I can certainly relate to that, and think it's a brilliant thing. And the cost is such what I like about it is the fact that the cost is very tiny for what you offer, which is absolutely fantastic. But also, it's only related to what you use, which is, I think, the most important thing. So a small school with just 100 children, there aren't going to be that many tickets ever, but within that, it could be free. It could just be a few pounds in relation to what it is that you're being able to fundraise for, or whatever you're doing. And I think that relationship and that care of the organisation that's using it, I think, again, it sort of comes back to that sort of family feel, in the fact that you're being supported by something which is enhancing your school, rather than something, like you say, that you have to buy in and then you have to kind of work out on your own.
Exactly. Well, there's two things I'd like to say to that. One of the big barriers to particularly primary schools using us is they think they're too small. Well, I'm a parent at a very small primary school, and they use this prolifically, because it just eases. The school knows what's happening. They're not guessing how many parents are going to turn up at something. It takes all of that guesswork out. So no school is too small. You're absolutely right. We have people using us for little concerts in village halls, because they can enable people to do it, buy the tickets and everything else more easily. So no school is too small is the first thing. And the other thing is, you can, of course, because of what I've just described, make TryBooking a zero cost to the school. So let's say you're going to set your tickets at £5, and you thought, well, TryBooking will take 25p, but I want that £5, and rightly so, because you want to fundraise for something. Well, you could make that ticket £5.50. TryBooking would retain 27p, and the school makes £5.23 on each ticket. So because you're paying online, it doesn't matter necessarily the cost. It's not that people are having to leave round notes or round numbers. So you can make it work at a zero cost for the school by just incorporating that 5% into the ticket price.
I think that's really important, because then, especially, like I said, if it's a fundraising event and every penny is really counting, to be able to do that, and it makes it much easier for everybody. And talking about the UK, I mean, as a UK company, it's open to anybody anywhere within the UK, and
correct.
And yeah, how far is the reach at the moment?
Well, from the north of Scotland to the south of England and down to Cornwall. In fact, I had a lovely, just yesterday, a wonderful special needs school actually down near Exeter, who are doing a big fundraising push, and I had met their head of fundraising. It's a state special needs school, and very rare to have a head of fundraising in that environment, but that's his role, and he's now going to use us to more easily fundraise. And the other thing is, it brings in cash flow as well. So to your point about forgetting the school trip money, because you're making it so much easier for parents to get organised, you tend to get all the cash in much quicker for you to. You might be buying the picnic lunch to go on the school trip. Well, all that money is in, so you're just improving it from that point of view. But no, we have both schools and non-school organisations using us from Aberdeen in Scotland down to Devon and Cornwall.
That's fantastic. And well, thanks very much for chatting to me. I just knew as soon as I saw it when I was in Manchester, I just thought it's such a brilliant idea, and the fact that it's so easy to use and so easy to incorporate it into any organisation, and specifically schools. And I just know from a parental point of view, and also having produced some productions and concerts of my own, that the seating thing takes the most time and the ticketing takes the most time, and it gives you the biggest headache on the day when you're trying to organise it yourself. And to have all of that taken care of is just an absolute godsend, I think. And I think anybody that's doing anything like that and has been involved, as schools are all the time, will just hear this and just think, oh, what a fantastic idea, and the fact that you can try it and it can work so flexibly around your own budget and size of school, I think is just a perfect scenario. And I'm so glad we got the chance to chat and you've been able to explain it like that. And as you said, we're going to have some examples and some resources that you can click through on our educationonfire.com show notes. So when you listen to the podcast, if you just put in TryBooking into the search bar, then the show notes for the podcast will come up, and we'll have lots of things for you to try out and have a look, and links back to the website so that you can really see how all of it works behind the scenes. So Joan, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I wish you the most success with it in the future, and hope it expands even more.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you again for inviting us. It's been very kind of you.
Thanks for listening to the Education on Fire podcast. For more information of each episode and to get in touch, go to educationonfire.com. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire.